Last month we had a fun photography theme, pictures of your cat May. It sounded probably a little more silly than it really was. You see, I see lots of viewers' cats and their dogs too. Pets are handy subjects. They're always hanging around with their cute little faces. So I suggested that in the month of May we embrace it. And we took photos of our pets and also everything else that was handy. May was about taking the ordinary and making something out of it. And it was fun. It's a new month now though, so it's time to move on. I decided to go with something a little more serious for June, but it's summer, so I wanted something that would still be fun and something where we could take advantage of the nice weather. So this month's photography theme is Plein Air June. You may be wondering what I mean by plein air and also wondering if I know how to spell the word plain, so let me explain. Plein air is a term that refers to creating art outside, specifically painting outside. In fact, it's French for open air. It was coined in the mid-1800s when the first Impressionist painters decided to head outside to explore painting light, how the light looks, how it changes the way you see. They were experimenting with painting what the eye actually sees rather than the strict studio painting that had classically been done prior to that point. But setting painting technique aside, let's talk about how we can apply the idea of plein air to our photography and how I will be weaving it into my work as SnapChick. First and most obvious, we're heading outside. It's summer. For most of us, that means warm temperatures, flowers, animals, and general loveliness. Many of us are headed out on vacation. Let's take advantage of it. We can get so bogged down in our daily lives, sitting in front of our computers, poring over every inch of our images, and even making sure that we capture the photos that we think we need to capture. So let's get out there and enjoy the outside and our surroundings, rather than being overly concerned about capturing everything in a certain way. Let's experiment and see what we come up with. Now, aside from actually enjoying being outside, this is a chance to really examine our surroundings. This builds a bit on what I just said about experimentation. It seems to me that we sometimes have a picture in our head of what our surroundings look like, especially if we've been there often, and then we think of how we should capture it in a photo. Traditionally, crisp contrast and vibrant color. If you're at a landmark, maybe we're focusing on the one big, most popular thing to capture. But is that really what you're seeing at any given time? Is that the only thing worth capturing? Or are you seeing something less crisp? Maybe something a bit sun-bleached. What else is around that you might find interesting? Can you capture that in a photo? For me, capturing a wonderful photograph is great. It's satisfying, and I love to share my final results with you all. However, a great photograph isn't the only reason that I like to be outside. I enjoy the process of photography, especially when it includes being outside or even a hike to a spectacular location. So for me, shooting Plein Air June is going to often include some sort of exploration to a location. Aside from the actual physical photography, being outside is a major source of inspiration for me. I've heard from many of you that this is the case for you guys too, that simply being outdoors gets the creative juices flowing for future photography endeavors. Okay. If you have watched many of my videos, you know that I'm not really into rules. So I've just discussed some options, but really anything goes in Plein Air June. Landscapes, macro, portraits, whatever. Maybe you're simply taking your inspiration from nature. I don't know, maybe you're just trying to make it look like your photo was taken outdoors. That's okay too. The bottom line with painting and plein air was really looking at a tradition with a different perspective, exploring, experimenting. So keep that in mind. As for me, I'll be outside. Landscapes, nature, portraits. Maybe I'll even dabble in some macro, and I'll share videos on outdoor topics or just from the outdoors. Follow me on Facebook to see what I post. And when you post your take on this theme, make sure to tag your images as Plein Air June so the rest of us can see them.